So there's this trafficking angle. There's an angle where violence is used to keep the women under control, to keep them within the system. And certainly there are unconscionable abuses with regard to health. I don't think I need to specify that. I think you know what happens, you know. And then, of course, there are the consequences. What happens if, as a result, a child is born? You know, you do see such instances, like you have a black Vietnamese with frizzy hair, right? Or a white Thai with blonde hair, and so on. But I think while we are cognizant of that, one of the dangers that I'm afraid we often engage in is to blame prostitution to focus our moral rage on prostitution, when in fact it may be better if we were more precise in focusing our rage and our attempts at addressing the root causes and the associated ills, which is, you know, kidnapping basically, that kind of thing, and imprisonment. For example, supposing a woman freely chooses, not supposing a person, let's not genderize it, supposing a person freely chooses to be a gigolo of his own free will. Do you have a problem with it? And it's true. From my observation, most male prostitutes are bloody hell like cats. You cannot keep them under control. Right? And it reflects less on prostitution than on the way society is structured, where women are very much subordinated. Women prostitutes tend to be controlled by a system. Men prostitutes tend to be free agents. And it's really very, and I tell you, pimps of male prostitutes constantly complain they cannot keep track of their stock. So you want to address, say, the first one, poverty, okay? So we thought about, oh, we must do something to develop these countries so that they're not in dire poverty. And let's put in, you know, factories where you're straining your neck, so I'll be kind to you. I'll come over this side to give you some reprieve. You don't have to look at me all the time. I'm not so beautiful and handsome, you know. So you have this whole idea of development and all that for poverty. But so you spend $200 to buy Nike shoes. No, these are not Nike. Spend $200 to buy Nike shoes. How many dollars actually goes to the worker who sews the shoes and repatriates that money back to her home village and her home family? How many dollars, guess, out of your $200 you just spent? $2 or $3. $2 or $3? Less than $2. Maybe 55 cents. Right? Okay, so you have a night of pleasure with somebody for $200. How many how many dollars do you think go back to her home village? 40? You seem to be extremely aware of the economics. I'm astonished by your precision. Yeah, but maybe I think that would be the ballpark. I really do think that would be in the ballpark, right? As much as, you know, 40, 50, a quarter, maybe a third might even go back to the family. So here is the outrageous statement. If you really want to help, don't buy Nike shoes. It's more cost effective. I'm doing this, you know, just to tickle your imagination. Tickle? And as well as to, you know, ask ourselves to really examine the whole idea from fresh angles. All right? If we want to help, what is the best way of helping? You know. Now, for example, I'll tell you this. I read somewhere, that's been some while ago. There was this organization that tried to help women trapped in prostitution, and this is an example from Turkey. Hello, yes, why are you raising your hand? You're from Turkey. Okay, you might get called up to do a demonstration. Huh? And they kind of like publicized a hotline around, okay? To basically was trying to tell the women, you know, if you feel that you are being trapped against your will, call this hotline. We'll find some way to rescue you. And after a while, they found that 75% of the people who used the hotline to call were the Johns, the men. All right? The men were the ones who were using the hotline to call in order to free the girl. But they were the men who bought the services. So I thought that, and the people who did it didn't expect this outcome. That the men were quite willing to buy the services, but were still outraged by the idea that she was being kept against her will. So you find that it is possible to make this distinction between the associated ills of prostitution and without getting trapped into this moral discussion of what prostitution is. Right. Then there are other issues. What time did I start? Where is Kelvin? There you are.
We have another 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes, good. I'll move on. Then. No, I won't. I'll bore everybody. It's okay. Yeah, and then the other thing that we have to ask ourselves is, what do you mean by trapped? When people are trapped in prostitution, what do you think that means? What do you mean when you say the word trapped? Come, Sujit.
Like they're caught in a cycle and they can't escape from it.
Yes. Yeah. That's, I think, what we would mean by that, right? So, when a person is a toilet cleaner, low paid job, low social status, that kind of thing, is that person trapped?
Yes.
Trapped?
Depends on the point of view.
Depends on the point of view, isn't it?
Of the person's point of view.
She's not held against her will, no? You know? But we don't normally, we could say she's trapped in this cycle of poverty and ill education and all that. But I think very much in the case of prostitution, we talk about a person who, once blemished, cannot unblemish, and therefore cannot move out of that vicious cycle. And this is where I'm coming to intercourse, or to interrogate our usual discourse. We talk about prostitution as if it is their ill. They're wrong. They have done something wrong. They have done something taboo, abnormal, violated the norms of society. And that's their problem out there that we should be talking and addressing. But if you think about why we consider them trapped in a cycle of prostitution, you can't avoid but ask yourself,